The games have been going all right, and I came back today for like another VOD review.
Yeah, yeah. Nice. And yeah, I appreciate you putting out all the stuff in the spreadsheet again. So we got Sork, Trist, Scrap. So yeah, bunch of good ones. Do you have, and let me screen share to you. Do you have a kind of specific like one that you would want to review?
Uh, I mean, I'm down for any of them. I think the Source one is pretty good. I've been playing that a couple times, not
Mm-hmm.
like with a ton of success. Like, I feel like maybe there could be something like going on there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I feel like I think about like my position usually when I try to go for a line, and like I feel like my angle usually is like okay,
Mm-hmm.
but like I don't know, like this game just didn't go super well, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I would say, I don't know, Sork's kind of an interesting line in that, like, obviously, if you can get to like the super cap of like 8 Sork with a spat and everything, then like
Uh-huh.
you are like looking at, potentially like winning the lobby. If you can't get there, if you're like stuck on 6 Sork, like I mean the stats definitely say that like if you end up stuck on 6 Sorcerer, you do not, yeah, it
Uh-huh.
says 6 Sork averages a
Oh wow.
5.
Okay,
So
that's not great.
yeah, it's what I've seen with this comp is that it's either like a spat, and then like the thing is, you need to have the spat and then also be able to get to LeBlanc check. So like, or I guess like
Huh?
get 2 spats, but if you're only 1 spat, then you need LeBlanc as well. So it's kind of like you need to get to both of those things. I do think when you can get to both of those things, it's quite good. And so like the way to get there is usually either like starting the game off with it's usually tempo and getting a spat somehow.
Okay.
And so like yeah, I don't know. The times where I have seen this comp really been successful is from like a really strong opener with Sorks, and then using that to win streak really hard, and then finding a spat later, or like sometimes like I've odd reviewed a game a few days ago where somebody they ended up capping out on 6 Sork, but they still went like top 2 or something just because they had such a strong early game. But it really feels like high tempo. Like can't really lost streak into Sorks because then like it's really tough to like guarantee that you can actually get to like a spot where you can hit like LeBlanc, like pushing 9 or just having a ton
Oh,
of gold.
okay.
So that's how I've been thinking about the comp. I do think like it is a lot stronger in the early game now. So yeah, it's definitely something that you can consider. Like we have the Swain start here. You also have this Maddie with this Bruiser start, which I think is pretty good. But like if you're holding onto the Swain, I think we skipped some Zyras in the shops earlier. Yeah, like I think if you're
Yeah.
and I don't know, maybe that's because you're spending time chatting or something, which fair enough. But yeah, like if you I think anytime you pick up an early Swain, I mean it doesn't even have to be a Sorks game. It could just be, this into some kind of AP thing. You could play this into like Academy, like Sorks into like Heimerdinger type stuff.
Oh, like
Um
Heimer. Okay, okay.
yeah. So yeah, like that's but I think that's something you should definitely consider. I think you're holding the Dravens for the idea of being able to play Conquer as well, which I think makes sense. But especially once you're like when you're Raw drop, I think
With those
holding the
items.
the Zyra seems really
Yeah,
good, and then when you get Rod
yeah.
and Teardrop, I really would consider it. So yeah, I think you said in the spreadsheet that you took BRB for augment here. I don't
Yeah.
mind it. I mean, I do think like training arc. I've seen people do well with training arc. The problem is your items
It
just suck
sounds
for it.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I think if you had reasonable items for Urgot, you already have an Urgot, you get training arc, like it's actually probably good in your spot. But
Uh-huh.
with Rod tier, I wouldn't really consider it. So I think this is an easy reroll. I like Thornplate a lot as an item. You don't. I mean, I guess like if you had like the Zyra 2 here, you could consider like a Thornplate and throw that onto Swain and just play like a really like tempo
Oh.
heavy game with like Sorks. But
Yeah.
we don't have that. It's just like you end up taking BRB here, which is an augment that I generally do like, just because like I mean you aren't down that much. Just like losing 3 rounds and getting 2 completed anvils is really really nice. So yeah, I don't
Mhm.
mind this. I would you should put your Zeri to the left of your Swain though, so that on 2-3 when it autofields a unit, it autofields the Zeri instead of the Swain. Because you're gonna
Oh.
naturally level up to 4 after 2-1 and 2-2, and then 2-3. It's just gonna feel whoever your leftmost unit is because you can't put a unit in because you're AFK. And so
Yeah.
like yeah, whatever the leftmost unit in is what is going to get played here, and so it's gonna end up being Swain. But I mean, you'd prefer the Zeri here. But yeah, okay. Law enforcement, aerial warfare, automata, everybody, cooking pot, everybody. it took a hard commit augment, another cooking pot. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess neither of them have like full slam. This guy too much value, and then this guy, the anima. Okay,
Artifact, yeah.
yeah. So,
It looks like
well,
a couple of Twitch players like this lobby, right? I could see like maybe 2 or 3, like an enforcer player,
mm,
and like some kind of like maybe like some kind of firelight player. So
mhm.
I thought Sork was kind of uncontested at least.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it will be uncontested, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what the rest of the early game looks like. But I would be a little bit nervous playing into Sorks from here, just because, yeah, like I talked about, it definitely feels more like a win streak comp and one where you just want to, you kind of want to
Uh,
guarantee that you can get to a LeBlanc, which is usually guaranteeing that you can like push level 9. And
mhm.
when you start the game off with a loss streak, it's very hard to like
It's
guarantee that you can
harder.
push
Okay.
9 unless you have like an insane econ augment or something. But I mean, I do think your items really lean towards AP. I mean, if you have the opportunity, like I wouldn't mind just taking like blue buff here. Yeah, I mean, I think this makes sense from your spot. And then I would just, but I think like with blue buff slam, if this ends up being that, we'll see. But like with blue buff plus rod open, I think you just play a Heimerdinger game from here. Like I think that would be my default
Yeah.
angle from this spot. Just because, yeah, I think it's a bit more consistent. Like you don't need to hit all of these things to actually make it succeed. Um,
Mhm.
this version of the board. I mean, I would still just play the Maddie plus the Zeri here and then keep the board you had in Bruiser's Maddie Zeri. I think you're kind of nervous that like you don't have someone to hold blue buff here. But
Uh,
like we don't really like we're on a 3 loss here. We do not mind at all if we lose 3 more or if we lose, two
right.
more and we're 5 loss in
Right.
this spot. Like we
Yeah.
would actually prefer to lose the next two. So like
Uh-huh.
you don't have to worry that much about slamming a blue buff here. So then like, you don't need then to be like to have a unit to hold blue buff, and like I guess your thought is I put Lux in here, maybe I can put blue buff down, and it'll be all good. But like, yeah, I wouldn't worry about slamming here when it's just like, I mean, we don't need to win these next 2 fights. We'd prefer to lose the next two. Okay, and we get Bruiser back in here. So yeah, I would just play Zeri over Swain. I think maybe you're kind of like prioritizing trying to figure out how to like I don't think it's that reasonable to make 30. The only way to make 30 here is to like hard commit to the Sork setup and like sell Maddie, which I don't like love. You could do it. It's like not horrible
Uh-huh.
because you're already in a loss streak. I mean, with these AP items, I don't mind it. Like selling Maddie here, selling Renata, putting the Lux in, making 30, and just saying like Lux is a pretty good unit, and like I'm not gonna play around these. Like I think if you do what you did here and you sold the Zeri, um, like I would sell the Maddie, just because
Right.
like
Because
with
like
like
mhm.
after you've sold Zeri, like you're not going to get much value out of having this Maddie onto your board. So I think I would either
Right.
just do I would just commit one way or the other. Like I would feel fine here playing the Zeri Maddie and just having like a stronger board, or you can just sell everything and make 30. But selling just the Zeri and not the Maddie and then not making 30, I think is just kind of like inconsistent because like
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not going to
Okay,
kill
I
that many more
understand.
units with just a Maddie one with no items.
Uh-huh.
And now we're not making 30, so it's just kind of like I don't know. It's a common theme in TFT where it's just and most games where it's just kind of like commit to something. And I think we're kind of
Yeah.
like, and I think you were trying to figure out what your strongest board was and that kind of stuff. So it was just like also kind of like a speed thing, like how quickly you can do it. But I would just say like, in this spot, just commit one way or the other towards either playing a bit of a stronger board and holding on to the snipers, or just playing the Sorks and making 30 gold here. I
Yeah,
think
that
either way,
makes
it's
sense.
okay. Okay, and then kind of walk me through what you're thinking here on like item anvils, because I know we have this tier rod in this spot, and then we have this anvil with a lot of different random options in it. So yeah, like what are you thinking item wise here?
Yeah, I'm thinking that like if you can 3 items something, it's just like better, right? Because they all like
Mm-hmm.
stack with each other, right? They multiply.
Yep.
I see that like I already have like basically an AP item and a half. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking for like another AP item, and it's either JG or Shojin.
Mm-hmm.
JG gives me crit and like damage, I guess, and like Shojin gives me I think mana per auto.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I went with Shojin because it just seems really flexible. I guess like I wasn't too sure what to do here, so like it seemed
Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The way that I would approach these anvils,
Yeah.
I guess one thing that you can start from actually, the
Hmm.
same idea of that, like we could slam like a blue buff here, like that's probably our most sellable item. You could slam archangels as well. You could slam either of those here, but we're on a 3 loss streak already, and then after this fight, we're on a 4 loss streak here.
Yeah.
So like slamming these items is not going to make a difference. Getting the blue buff down versus archangels versus like slamming nothing, like none of those are really going to make a difference. Maybe it'll save you like 1 HP
Mhm.
at the end of the day. And so, like, in the same way, actually, I don't think popping these anvils right now is very impactful on your board. Like, you could sure throw a Shojin onto Maddie and maybe you'll kill an extra unit, but like, worst case scenario, we take a Shojin, throw it onto Maddie, and then we like win the next fight and break our loss streak. Like, that's
Oh, yeah,
terrible
that's
for us.
horrible, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so I think it makes the most sense for you in this spot to actually just save both of these anvils until Krugs, and then see what you get dropped from
Oh.
Krugs, and then you can make a more informed decision. Because like my hesitation about taking like a Shojin here, um, or even a JG, like getting to 3 items is really good. There is this kind of weird tension in TFT where you want to get to 3 items as quickly as possible, but you also
Yeah.
want to balance out frontline and backline components. Because, like, for example, here, say you take Shojin and then you crack this open and you take, like, I don't know, a Giant Slayer or something. So we have basically like
Uh-huh.
all of our items are backline, and then we
Yeah.
go to minions and we get dropped like a bow and a sword or something. Like, we are going to go the entire game without frontline items essentially. Like, it's going to take us so long to get back to frontline items. And so, like, in a spot
Oh,
like
I
this, I
see.
think it's actually fine to balance out a little bit more because you have, like you said, 1.5 damage items. Just getting 1 damage item from these anvils means that you're already at 2.5, and like you don't
Mhm.
really like the way that item prioritization works in TFT is like, yeah, you want to get to 3 damage items, and then like your next big priority is getting to 3 tank items,
Right.
and you don't know what you're getting dropped from Krugs, you don't know what you're getting dropped from like wolves later, and so like if you get 6 components and make like 3 damage items now, then every single damage component you get dropped later is like awkward to work around. The only things that you can do with that is make like,
Oh,
MR shred or like heal cut or stuff like that. So
sure.
yeah, I think the one that I would consider most here is Warmogs here. I'm also thinking of playing, like I said, a Heimerdinger angle from here. Like my thought is I
Yeah,
have blue buff
yeah.
here. I can put that onto Heimerdinger, and then I have a rod open for really good Heimerdinger items. Archangel is good.
Mhm.
Gunblade is good. And then I can take Warmogs here. It'll be great on a frontline later. It also balances out my frontline and backline
Oh.
components. So that's what I like here. And I guess the last piece of it is, yeah, having multiple items on units, like multiplying their damage and all that kind of stuff, is really good. My hesitation with Shojin here is like, we already have tier here. Like, we are going to
Yeah.
have to make some kind of mana item already, and there aren't many carries
Mhm.
in TFT right now that can like really use multiple mana items very well.
I
Like
guess Silco
Kog'Maw.
do it, right?
Yeah, like yeah. Silco's a really, really good example, where he
Uh-huh.
like really likes like the Shojin Nashers, and like Kog'Maw. You can go like Winsu, Shojin. You can do a bunch of mana gen on him because like the more he casts, the more he attacks, and like it kind of transforms into damage. But
Yeah.
like if we don't play Silco from here, and even if we do play Silco from here, the items I think just become a bit awkward because like. Yeah, Silco I would say is the only one who can be like kind of happy with multiple mana items, but like you really want like the Shojin Nashers on him to kind of like, you get the cast off, the Nashers gives you attack speed that helps scale up the auto attacks from the Shojin, like they kind of feed into each other. But like
Mhm.
it doesn't really work with something like blue buff. Silco's like a pretty big mana pool, so like blue buff's not very good on him. Archangels is pretty
Yeah.
awkward onto Silco because he's already getting AP from Dominator, so you don't really need the
Mhm.
extra AP there. So yeah, like I think like taking Shojin here puts you in kind of an awkward spot because yeah, like you said, the only AP carry that you'd really want these double mana items on is Silco, and like I don't think we yeah, I just don't think like these items work that well in Silco. You also see this guy who's playing Sorks, which like not that you can't play Sorks from one way contested. I think it's perfectly fine to play like one way contested Sorks, but definitely something to
Uh-huh.
keep in mind where like, if we get an option to play another line, I would definitely consider it just because like yeah, we know for sure we're one way contested. Um okay, and you scout. Okay, I like that we're actively making our board weaker here. I don't Okay, yeah, we scout this guy as well, who is board looks pretty bad, but like
Yeah,
he's
that guy
level
looked
5.
kinda scary.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're doing the kind of correct thing here and just trying to play your weakest board. I would do this. I would also get Bruiser out here. You end up getting Visionary in. I mean, I think your weakest is you can play like Zeri. I don't know if you've tried doing the thing where you like trap a unit in the corner where you put like, Renata
Oh,
here,
yeah.
Morgana here, and then trap in a melee unit. You can do that as well.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we make our slams here, and yeah, we go Archangels, Shojin. And yeah, it's just kind of like Archangel Shojin. Like I don't know, the way that I think about or not explorer, like team builder, like carry items.
Mhm.
It's kind of interesting. I guess there's like two versions of Zoe, so you can do like two different versions of Zoe and then Silco. But you know, like you were talking earlier about how Silco really likes Shojin. He really likes
Nashers?
Nashers, yeah. So like Silco
Yeah.
really loves Trojan Nashers. Heimerdinger really loves Blue Buff. If you're playing like the Sentinel
Uh-huh.
version, he likes Archangels a lot. Like this is a very, very
The good
common
play? Yeah, yeah,
Heimerdinger
yeah.
build. And then Zoe, if you're playing like the Rebel version of Zoe, then you know Gwinsu's tends to do really well on her. No matter what version you're playing, Guardbreaker is really good on her just because she's
Mhm.
bouncing her star around and hitting like a bunch of different targets. And then
Yeah.
if you're playing like the more Sork version of Zoe, then Shojin then becomes pretty good on her, and Nashers becomes pretty good on her. Just stuff that's getting her to cast faster is good. But you still like
Okay.
you end up making, let's see, the Shojin this game, and then you go for the Archangels as well, which is like it's a little bit awkward with like if you end up going into the Sork angle. It's just from what I've seen, looking at like item stats for Sorks,
Mhm.
these kind of like scaling items like Archangels don't do as well because Sorks tend to like, especially if you can get to 8 Sorks, play for like really really quick fights where you just like blow up the enemy board really really quickly.
Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense, that makes
and
sense.
so yeah, like it's kind of awkward. Like these items are actually really good if you were to play like a Renata herself game. But like this Renata reroll comp, I don't know. I feel like is like fallen off
Yeah.
a cliff. Like I'm not that excited to play it anymore. I think that other guy you scouted
Okay,
is playing it
okay.
as well, so kind of tough to play it here. So yeah, but like here you can kind of see. I mean, this you get like some outs. You actually get the double belt here, which is like kind of high roll from your spot, being able to get there. But you can still kind of see the
Uh-huh.
issue where like these tiers are always going to be damage items. This bow is always going to be a damage item. I guess you can make like redemption adaptive and that kind of stuff. But like best case here, you could make like 2 tank items and then 1 damage item, and then we're still kind of. I mean, I think your items actually end up being pretty decent here, but it's like you also ran the risk of like I said, like if these giant belts had been like swords or something, your items would have just
Oh,
been
yeah,
like
that would've been
it would be
cooked,
like
yeah.
over. So
Yeah,
that is the upside to
okay.
balancing like frontline and backline components a little bit better, is that you know you get the opportunity to maybe it just you decrease your chance of like low rolling components like that. But okay, we play this board for now. We level up. I mean, you could have leveled up before round, but all good. I mean, yeah, I like. I mean, one, I generally like Warmogs as an item. And two,
Mhm.
I think Warmogs makes your other slams quite good here. I don't mind waiting until after minions or after augment to make the slam here, just because
Mhm.
once again, like you don't really, you're on a 6 loss here. You don't really like. It's not the end of the world if you lose a few more fights, but you would like to start winning at some point, which like hopefully that's soon.
Yeah, that
I
would
would
be
say
good.
like
Yeah.
somewhere like latest like 3-5 maybe. Like if you 10 loss, it's gonna be a bit scary. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
just talking about items. I don't know what slams are you. I guess we can go back so it's like highlighted so you can see a little better. But like, what are you thinking like item slam wise here? Like what you would like to make in this spot? Because I think you hovered the Warmogs. You didn't
Uh,
make it yet, but you were considering it.
yeah, I think I was thinking redemption and adaptive. I think that's what to go with here, if I remember correctly. Because
Hmm.
that kinda basically gives you 2 tank items. They're
Hmm.
not, like, the best tank items for, like, a super tank, but, like, they are tank items, right?
Hmm.
Like yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
want to make 2 tank items here, and then the question is what to do with the bow. I'm thinking Warmog's adaptive here, and then you're left with static shiv open, and then you get to get your MR
Oh.
shred done.
Oh, that
You
actually looks really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like it allows you to triple
I might
slam
do that.
here, gives you your
Okay.
shred. Yeah, we'll see what you end up making actually,
Okay.
because yeah, like redemption adaptive not bad. And then like you're left with belt and bow open. Like you actually are left with like theoretically this could be like Shiv Sunfire or something, but like I just like
Uh-huh.
getting the triple item slam here, and yeah, it's just like yeah, it's nice, especially in your spot where you're getting kind of low to just be able to make something. But okay, augment here, piercing lotus, shop glitch. You don't have a more shred made yet, so piercing lotus is like decent. Like I like taking this when I'm lacking shred, um, but
Oh. Okay.
because we do have the shiv open, I'm down to just not take this because we could just make the shiv. Is my thought.
Mhm.
And then shop glitch. I mean, you have to play reroll if you take this. I'm not very excited for that. And then you get vampiric vitality. I don't know. I don't generally like this one. It's not very good with like backline comps like the one you're playing. You would want this on like a comp where you're playing on like a Vi or an Embessa or something. Like the Omnivamp is a lot better
Mhm.
on those. But even then, I don't know if this one's very good. Like you're only really actually getting 12%
It's
Omnivamp when
exciting.
Yeah, it's fun, and I mean, you are low, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it makes sense in your spot. I think Blazing Soul does make a lot more sense in your spot, so I like this pickup here. Find a random Garen that we can fit on the board, so I like it. Oh, and maybe you do end up just making the Warmogs. I mean, I do think Warmog is just a good item in general. I feel fine about leveling here. I'd probably just play Watcher over the extra Visionary unit. You can play Darius as a Watcher here and be happy with it. But yeah,
Oh, right. Okay, okay.
but yeah, I would just make Shiv adaptive here and just make sure to get these slams down because, like, you know, even fighting somebody like this, like saving HP is nice. Win like at this point, I don't really mind if I win a fight or lose a fight. Like I just really want to save HP. And like, I mean, this guy's
Yeah.
board doesn't even look bad. Like I think maybe with double slam, yeah, like you probably still lose this fight even with double slam, but you'd kill this and then like maybe even this and like you get like a 1 unit loss, maybe a 2 unit loss or something, which would be like
Mhm.
fantastic for you econ wise. Okay, we pick up the Zoe
Oh,
here.
something about Heimer here maybe. Oh, I
Huh?
think it was a Zoe that convinced me. Like, I pulled up the Heimer team comp, so I was, like,
Oh, yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about Heimer here.
Yeah. I think, like,
Yeah,
if
okay.
you were considering Heimer harder, I would have, like I said, played more for the, like, the blue buff. Like, we had blue buff
Okay.
open, and I think, yeah, you said Shojin is just, like, more flexible than blue buff, which is true, but I don't really if you have, like, a really, really good slam for a spot, I don't mind being a little bit inflexible, giving myself the direction, especially because, like, we saw that other guy that was playing, Sorks, like, we
Mhm.
know we're gonna be contested in Sorks. I don't know if we scouted
Yeah.
anyone that's Heimer for sure. Alright, and then
I
strongest
didn't
board
see any
thing
Heimer players.
yeah, so, you know, like, that would be uncontested, and we'd have really good items for it. And, like, super, super worst case scenario, you can just throw a blue buff onto Zoe. Like, it's not ideal, but, like, it's better than nothing. Um,
Okay, okay,
yeah. Strongest board thing here, we should
okay.
definitely play the Irelia over the Singe tier. It's Rebel on this
Oh,
board. So
right,
yeah,
right.
it's just little stuff like that, especially in your spot when you're kind of low. Like yeah, saving some HP would be very, very nice here. So yeah, definitely
Yeah,
something
makes
to
sense, makes sense.
consider. Looks like we end up winning the fight anyway. So no harm, no foul, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we have the Zoe at this point, so I think that's really encouraging you to lean towards the just some kind of Zoe type angle here. Um, I would just try to take like some kind of. I actually, yeah, belt is solid. Yeah, like you want to take. You kind of need tank items and you kind of need heal cut items, and belt is both. So I like belt a lot. It could be like a Sunfire, especially if we go ahead with those slams that I was talking about. 28 to level here, I think is fine. You're looking at maybe redemption adaptive, and you just make 2 tank items. Yeah, like I said, I mean, it is good to get both tank items made here. So I think this is
Mhm.
not bad. And then you keep the bow open for some kind of heal cut or a marsh red. I would just level this round. I mean, I guess if you play Rebel, you don't need to, but like then you could even level for Scar. It's just like it's not very expensive to level here. Like you're not going to break 30 gold.
Yeah.
My general like rule of thumb is that like if I can level in a spot like this and not break 30, then I just do it because it's like you can save a lot of HP. Like you know, level here in this fight, and if we had Scar in here and
Mhm.
we had Rebel in here, we would have won this fight, and then we can play for more of a win streak in this
I
spot and
see.
actually be yeah, like actually have a good spot. Now that the Aurelia too, yeah, it's actually the fact that we found Aurelia too like baits us into playing it, which is good. Like it made us play it when we otherwise wouldn't have. We also have like Sorcerer that we
Yeah,
could
it
level
was
for.
totally an accident.
Yeah. Okay, and then you get the Vlad in here. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, this is our board for now. And maybe you're gonna hold on to some extra Sorks here. I mean, I do think like I don't know, I don't love like if I had to play a line out of Zoe in this spot, I
Yeah.
mean I guess we'll see what else we get. But I think the
Mhm.
vertical like rebel version, like 7 Rebel, is just kind of like better as a default, especially when you're low. Um just because you
Oh.
can
Is
always
it
get to
spike
7
starter?
yeah, it's just like you can always get to 7 Rebel and spike your board that way. Whereas like, you know, 8 Sork is like the real cap for sorcerers, and it's just like you know, you can't guarantee that you get to 8 Sork in a spot like this. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, yeah, you can guarantee always play around 7 Rebel, whereas you can't do that with Sork. Um all right, items a little bit awkward, but I mean, honestly, they're not even awkward if we do end up playing around Vertical Rebel, because then we can play this Ezreal that you have
Right.
here, and like he
And
can
put
hold some of the
AD
AD
items on
items.
him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be completely fine with going red buff Deathblade here, and then just those are items. The only downside to that is it's gonna be like we're not gonna get to an MR shred item for a long time. But I mean,
Mhm.
I don't think there's like another real option that allows you to be like because you kind of need to like level next round and be strong, and you also need to like slam all your items just because we are quite low in the context of the lobby because we lost streak so much. So like you can't
Yeah.
really like delay your strength for a really long time. Um,
Mhm.
but okay here, and I mean also yeah, had we the idea like that we play for vertical rebel here. I mean, you could take Sixers
Right, with the
here
Jinx, right? Yeah,
and get the
yeah.
Jinx, and like you'd feel fine about it. Um, Mana flow, I mean, it's a strong generic augment. I think if you're playing Sorks, it's pretty good. I don't really like salvage bin here. Oh, we do get the LeBlanc, so I guess that's also what maybe pushes you into this comp. We have 5 Sork here. I definitely want to roll down here before I 100% commit to items onto LeBlanc, just because like if we hit a Zoe 2 here, then
Oh, right. We
we'd
play
prefer
Zoe
to
too, like, over LeBlanc,
yeah,
right?
we'd prefer to have the triple item onto it.
Okay,
Like
okay,
LeBlanc
okay.
1 is definitely better than Zoe 1, but you know, like the other thing is like you do actually just need to roll in this spot. Our board is um there's a few things, but just like generally the way that I approach rolling is like I ask myself like, okay, you know, what am I rolling for in this spot? Like, how much can
Mhm.
hitting certain units spike me? And like, the answer is like an insane amount here. If we find any single sorcerer, we can get into 6 Sork, and like that is a huge, huge spike on this board
Yeah.
here. So yeah, like I'm really, really interested in
I'm
just
missing
rolling here.
Swain, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
you're missing Swain, and then there's another one that you're missing because there
Nami?
are yeah, yeah, Swain Nami. Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
So yeah. So yeah, like either Swain or Nami spikes our board immensely. Also you have the opportunity of like this is probably what's going to have to come out here like the Vex just because like it's you want to get 6 Orc in and like you need the front line.
Mhm.
But like if you cut Vex, get like a Swain in. If we find like an Alawi, then we can end up getting Alawi in onto this board and getting like keeping Rebel in
Oh.
and just being like 6
Yeah,
Sork
yeah.
plus the 2 Rebels for Rebel for Zoe and for Sentinel, which would be good. If we find like a Garen 2, like we can also play around that. There's like maybe a world where if we find some kind of like Academy, we can play around that, like Leona plus we'd have to find like Jace would be the only way that we could fit it, but like maybe.
Uh-huh.
Elise is also another unit that you can hold. Like there's a lot of stuff that you can roll for in this spot, and our board's not that strong. And the big thing is, okay, and yeah, you do start rolling a bit more here. So maybe it was just like a not having enough time to roll type thing, which happens. But yeah, I think you need to roll like deep in this spot just because like we're really low here and we have so many units that we can hit here. And yeah, I think you're trying to like team planner out what we okay, and then you throw the Sorks in there. I mean, I think with these items, oh, let me pick up the Swain here. I still don't think our board's good enough yet with the Swain. Like, I definitely want to continue
Mhm.
rolling in this spot when we're this low and when we're this unupgraded because just like kind of like do a check for like how many upgraded units we have on board. I think we have
Yeah.
we have Vladimir. No, we don't even have Vladimir 2. Our only upgraded unit is Vex
Is
2,
Vex
which
too.
is a
She's a
after cutting
visionary,
Rebel, it is
right?
a 0 trait Vex 2.
Yeah.
Um, with no items as well. So yeah,
I
I
forget
mean,
that dude's not a sorcerer sometimes,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
no, Vex is yeah, definitely like I mean Vex has been a sorcerer in the past.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you played what's that was that? It was like sorcerer Yordle Vex as like a tank. In the past.
Oh,
That
I
was a
see.
it was a sick version of Vex. It was like Vex frontline, and then I think Ziggs was a sorcerer, and they were like both Yordles, and like you
Mhm.
put Yordles in, and they would give you more Yordles. It was kind of sick, but
Wait, that sounds
not
pretty fun. Uh-huh.
not in this set. She's yeah. So
Unfortunate, yeah.
but yeah, like the biggest thing here in my head is just like our board in my head is not good enough to be like stable
Yeah.
this stage. Like you need to roll a lot more. My I don't know if I told you I might have said it in a previous session because I thought about it recently. I've been saying it more. Is like the stage -1 idea for like a
Yeah, yeah,
standard
we
carry
talked
and
about
tank.
that.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, like right now we are not at all passing that test. You know, our carry is a LeBlanc, who's I mean she's a 1 star 5 cost, which is like you know a little bit weaker than a 2
Is
star
that
3
not
cost.
a 2 stars, 3 costs?
Like, I think generally, like, a little bit weaker. Maybe
Okay,
depending
okay,
on the unit sometimes, like, it can be stronger. But, like, I mean, gold value is not everything, but, you know, 2 star 3 cost is
okay.
9 gold, 1 star 5 cost is 5 gold. Like, in general, like, it's not always the case where, like, you know, generally upgraded units tend to be a little bit better. So, yeah, like, I don't think
Mhm.
it's quite there. But even if you wanna be, like, generous and say, like, "Okay, we have a 1 star 5 cost, maybe that's, like, a 2 star 3 cost," our front
Our
line
front line
does
is
not,
terrible,
yeah,
bro.
does not
Yeah.
pass the test at all. 1 star 3 cost, 1 star 4 cost, 1 star 2 cost. And the other thing is just, like, having the front line, like, the key front line and backline unit matters, but also, like, having the little upgrades on the side also helps a lot. Like, had your
Mhm.
board been, Vladimir 2, Lux 2, Zyra 2, and then this is cut for, like, something better, then, like, maybe like an Elise in here for some extra frontline. Like, I mean, still, I don't think your board's stable, but it's closer to stable. But like this version of
Okay.
the board, I just don't think is like we're pretty far even from being stable. And the other piece of it is that we're 37 HP. Like our board is really like far from like if we lose a fight, it's really really scary. So
Mhm.
yeah. Um okay, it's I can't see
Oh,
carousel. I think maybe it's doing your alt
I
tabbed or
think it was
something. I don't know.
yeah, I was checking to see, like, what goes in this comp. I, like, don't
Mhm.
play Sork, like I haven't played Sork too much. Maybe I was checking Zoe items.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I like Shojin here. Like I said, Shojin Nashers like tends to be pretty good onto Zoe in general, just because like you're playing for that like really really quick cast. I mean, as far as like plus
Mhm.
one units to play in this on this board, like I said, you can think about playing that like Alawi Irelia setup and getting Rebel in. Elise is a very popular one because she's form swapper here, and if you ever get
Yeah.
Sorcerer Emblem, she holds it really really nicely. So that's another one that you can think about. But
Mhm.
it's kind of around what you hit, but yeah, just and like Garen fits nicely here as well. So like you can flex most of the front line actually in the game here. But the big thing here is just
Mhm.
like 56 HP. I think you're getting a little bit baited by the fact that we won the last 3 fights. So you're like, oh, maybe my board is like actually like really good. But like I feel like we're just fighting such weak boards, and we're also potentially going down the path of like doing a really really ill-advised fast 9 where we're just
Okay.
not going to have enough gold to go for it. So we'll
Yeah.
see. um I mean, there's so if you have
Yeah.
Nami, you can guarantee get a Sork emblem
Sork, right? Yeah.
because there's no
No
emissary emblem.
emissary? Yeah.
Yeah. Here you're kind of 50-50ing it. Black Rose is not
But Black Rose
amazing.
is good,
I mean,
right?
it's
Oh, really?
good, but I mean, it's good in
Oh,
general, but like you're not holding a lot of the Black Rose units. You're gonna have to like pivot back into that. It's just gonna be a little bit awkward to get to. It's like fine. I mean, I think Sork is way better for you in this spot here. Like
okay,
if you could take
okay.
your pick here, you would definitely take Sork because then you're one
Sure.
off of 8 Sork and then really excited. I think Black Rose is like okay here, but it's like we don't have like any of the like I guess you can skip Morgana, but it's like we don't have a lot of the other Black Rose stuff, so it's gonna be a little scary to get to. But oh my god, second LeBlanc, what the fuck? We do get Sork though. Okay. Um, Once again, I'm still scared just for our board HP wise, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know about pushing 9 here. I mean, I do know.
No,
I don't think it's good. Um,
it's not good. Okay, okay.
yeah, like it's just the way to make your game so much easier is to build your board on 8 and then go 9 once you have a stable 8 board. And we
Okay.
have won 3 fights this stage, but like next stage when we
They were
start
pretty
fighting,
weak.
yeah, like
Yeah.
when we start fighting stronger boards, our board's just gonna fall off a cliff. Like we fight this guy here, and this guy's board is like good, but it's also not even that good. Like their carry is like 1 star Kate and 1 star Mbessa, and like we get destroyed. And they have this like martial law stuff and the enforcer augment and stuff like that, and they have 6 enforcer in, so like their board is pretty good. But like this guy's board is not even like at the top of like what you'd be fighting. His board's like about like probably a little bit better than average, and we get kind of destroyed. And the other piece
Yeah.
of it is we're so low. Like we drop from did we? Yeah, we lost the last 2 fights. So we dropped from 37 to 27, and now we dropped to 14. And so now we're just any single fight that we lose can end our game. And like we have the option, we have the possibility of capping out with 8 Sork here and being strong. We pick up the Elise, which is great. We just need to pick up Nami here. But if we try to go 9, you're just not gonna have enough gold to go 9. I don't know if I think maybe I talked to you about this
We
concept, but
yeah, we
about
talked about the amount of gold to build up for, like
yeah,
how much I need to roll.
yeah,
Uh, I I don't know, I think I was baited in by the fact that I won 3 fights,
yes,
and
exactly.
then, like, I was like, if I hit 8 Sork, I, like, spike pretty hard,
Hmm.
was my kind of rationale here.
Yeah, I mean, I completely, uh,
I didn't know Vex was in this board, like, I just, like,
yeah,
forgot she wasn't a Sork, I think that was the
yeah. I
problem
think
too.
it's just something that happens sometimes, is you kind of like Forget. Oh, we get a Mel. Okay, I mean, we can fit that. It'd be amazing if we could get her to enough casts, but we're 14 HP. I don't know if we're gonna get there. I mean, yeah, you can sell the Vex for sure. Move items over to Mel. So we're still this. This is tragic, but okay. Death cap. I like. Yep. Okay. I mean, good items. We're 14 HP. Hopefully, we could win some fights. This game looks so scary, actually. But okay, we're getting a lot of Mel casts off. I mean, if we can get to the Mel extra life, that's actually like so good for us. Um, but yeah, it's just like it's the same idea that I talked about when I was talking about that like kind of Fast 9 idea is just that like it's so hard for you to find Zoe 2 now on 9 just because we're so poor. Like I mean, you
Mhm.
hit decently here. I mean, like hitting the Mel is amazing. Pretty unfortunate that we don't find like Nami, but you know, like still like we hit a decent amount of good stuff here and we find the Zoe pair. But it's just it's still so hard for us. Okay, we actually that is so insane that we got enough Melcast in 2 fights just because of the items. I mean, really, really huge here actually, because this game would have just been a seventh without the Mel, which I mean also probably goes to show how ill-advised this level 9 push is. If
Yeah,
the only
yeah, yeah,
reason why it's
okay.
not a seventh is that we found a 6 cost and then she saved our game. But okay, continue roll down. But like once again, like, had we rolled on 8, you were 1,000,000% guaranteed to find the Nami, and then you're guaranteed to be 8 Sork here. And the only downside is that, you know, you don't have high odds of finding like a LeBlanc 2 or anything on 8, but you can just
Mhm.
find the 8 Sork on 8, be stable then, like find 8 Sork and find like Zoe 2 and like Swain 2 and stuff like that, then push 9 and find like LeBlanc 2, and then your game is just so much easier to play out. So yeah, I mean, Shojin seems solid. I don't think you have looking at yeah, I mean, I think Shojin last item for Zoe seems great. And we just we have so many damage items, but once again, it's like kind of fine in Sork to have a million damage items, and then we pick up. Wait, we needed the Nami. We didn't pick
Yeah,
up the.
like, I
Oh
think I
man, and we
forgot
also
about the 8 sword thing,
yeah, you also
yeah.
sold the Lux. I think I was yapping about something else. So I think it's when you sold all these units here, you also sold Lux. So now we can't even play 8 Sork. I mean, that's pretty tragic. Yeah, right here at the end of the stage, you sold.
Oh,
Oh yeah, it
man.
was when
I
you're
feel
rolling
like a
for.
baboon, bro. Holy cow, yeah.
It's okay. Yeah, you sell the 2 Luxes there, but we don't even really need to sell the Luxes there. So then now we don't have Luxes for 8 Sork. Yeah, I looked at your bench. I was like, wait a minute, what happened to our Luxes? So, but hey, it's top 5 at this point. Not bad. But yeah, we could be 8 Sork here. Like, you actually have odds of like decent odds of like winning the lobby here with like 8 Sork, with the Sork Mel and everything. Like, yeah, I think you actually have a decent chance of winning the lobby with like Zoe 2 and everything. You would just need to find a little bit better front line. But yeah, I mean, I think this game was uh, immense greed on pushing level 9.
Uh-huh.
Which yeah, I do think like just my recommendation is to build a strong board on 8, and then go 9 and
How
like
deep would you roll at 8, I guess, like
right. I mean, I think like, especially in your spot when you're so low, you're 37 HP,
yeah,
I would easily, like, roll it to like, I would definitely roll here for 6 Sork, and then you can maybe wait, like, a
yeah,
little bit, but I would be fine rolling it down to, like, these other rounds, I would definitely roll to, like, 30 gold, maybe even 20 gold. You don't need to roll to, like, 0, 0,
uh-huh.
but like definitely like 30 or 20 gold if it takes you that long to find like the 6 Sork. And like now you have 6 Sork, which is good. But once you get to the second half of this stage, like now I'm starting to think like, okay, this is a round when people are hitting like 2-star 4 costs. So I need to at
Yeah,
least be like 2-star 3 cost Swain, like frontline to feel good enough.
mhm,
Like, I mean, you're right that like LeBlanc, I mean, LeBlanc's a 5 cost, and she's also like kind of a super 5 cost in this comp. Like, she's just so much work that like LeBlanc, you honestly do have enough damage in how all these fights went, but you don't have at all enough frontline. So
yeah,
yeah, I would want to at least roll down for like Swain 2 here. Sometimes it's not about like how much gold you roll, it's about like what you what units you stop on, you know, like what amount of
yeah,
hits
yeah,
you stop on. And I think your spot here, it's just you need to roll until you have a stable front line, which is like at least Swain 2, Vlad 2, and like ideally a 2-star 4 cost, like Garen 2, Elise 2, Alawi 2. But like we don't have that stuff. And that's what hurts us in fights like the Ambushers fight and fights like
like the
the
enforcer
the
dude?
enforcer fight, yeah, where he just like blows up
Yeah,
our front line in 2 seconds and then starts targeting backline. Like this fight is just so tough to win without good front line. And like we get close to killing a lot of units here. Like if we had a real front line here, we kill these units, and in like worst case, it's a 1 unit loss, and like best case, it's a win, you know? So definitely, yeah,
would you
definitely.
ever pivot to, like, a Sway Nami reroll at, like, I don't know, at 7 if you hit, like, a lot of them?
If you had a lot of them, I think you can consider it. We didn't this
Uh-huh.
game, so I
Is
wouldn't,
it
but
good?
I think it's pretty decent. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like very okay. Like if you high roll, I don't know. I had a game where I high
Uh-huh.
rolled like a ton of them. And I
Uh-huh.
ended up I went like third or something like that. I mean what you
Mhm.
can even do is just go for like Swain 3 and then like just use Swain 3 as your tank and then play for like Swain Zoe type stuff. Like
Yeah.
there's so many carries in this comp that like if I hit a Swain 3, I would feel fine just playing him and then just like pushing levels for other stuff and playing around them, moving some items to LeBlanc and things like that. Like you could think about
Mhm.
that as well. But yeah, I
Okay.
think it's like okay. It's not a like I'm not like excited to start the game from 2-1 and say like this is a Swain Nami game, but like if I'm like
Yeah.
gifted it, I'll play it, I guess.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Any questions, any other questions on this game?
No, this seems reasonable. I guess I did have a kind of a strange pivot into Sorks, but like,
I mean, at the
yeah,
end of the
I think
day,
yeah,
mhm, like
I think
I
playing more towards Heimer might have made sense. Like, I think that's kind of an easy to pilot line, I guess. I like get bored when playing it. It feels like I'm like cheating, I guess. It's like,
uh-huh.
I don't know, it feels like a little inflexible and kind of cringe in a way, right? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe I'm like overthinking it though.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you wanna, like, play for in TFT, like, if you wanna, optimize fun or optimize LP. If you wanna optimize fun and play the comps you have more fun with, I completely respect it. Like, at the end of the day, like, 99.99999% of TFT players are not playing it as a job, they're playing it for fun, so I definitely,
Yeah.
I respect it. But, yeah, I mean, in your spot, I don't mind, playing Sorks here, like, you got gifted a Zoe, and then on 4-2 you get gifted a LeBlanc on 7. Like, I think that's
That's
enough of a
crazy, yeah.
yeah, I think that's enough
Uh-huh.
of a like a requirement checked off for me to say, okay, this is a sorcerer's game. Especially
Okay.
because you later get the calling card and then you can play for 8 Sork. Like it actually ends up working out like perfectly for you. It's just that
I just
we
forgot about 8 Sork,
yeah,
right?
yeah, you don't play for 8
And
Sork,
the
and then,
green,
yeah, you're playing for, I think
pushing
next
9.
patch, they're supposed to be removing 8 Sork, so you're just playing 1 patch ahead, I guess.
Yo, let's go, bro. Nice,
Yeah,
okay.
okay. Okay, we got 20 minutes left. You wanna do another one of these? I mean, we did a Sork game already, so I feel like if we do another Sork game, I
Yeah.
might say some of the same type stuff, so let's do, you said this is a scrap game, let's do this one. Um,
I really struggle with this comp, dude. Like, I
scrap.
don't really know, like, yeah, like, what the thing is about it, right? Like, with Enforcer, it kinda makes sense, like,
Mhm,
you want, like, Caitlyn and, like, uh, what do you call it? Like, Vitu is good, right?
mhm,
And then you kinda, like, level
mhm.
and hit 9. With Scrap, like, I don't know, this is, like, a lot of moving pieces. I don't, like, see people play it a lot, so
Yeah. I mean, I think it's,
I see,
there
like, Scrap Ambusher and, like, Scrap, like, with, Pit Fighter and, like yeah, I get a bit confused with this one.
yeah, I think after the buff to scrap this patch, I've seen most people go back into like the 6 scrap plus a few extra units type line
Uh-huh.
where you can play 6 scrap, you can play like a Vi on the board, you can play like a Lease on the board, fits nicely with the
Mhm.
traits. So yeah, you can play Trist on the board. So it's usually just 6 scrap plus a couple of extra units that you end up hitting. So that's I think the kind of like default version. It also is kind of a it's not really the same as like sorcerers, but it is another comp that really benefits from hitting a 5 cost. There's no like, 8 scrap that you need rumble to hit, but like it is
Yeah.
it is like just still something that like getting rumble impacts your board really really beneficially. So something
Mhm.
to consider as well. But it does like it feels a little bit different from Sorkin that like you do stabilize really really nicely around just like 6 scrap in the like the early late game like 4-2 type stuff. Oh, okay. So I mean, yeah, you have I mean, I think this is very reasonable in the spot here. I mean, I would honestly like worst case like I think you could even think about just taking this faster just to kind of scare other people off of it because your spot is so good for
Oh,
it.
dang. Okay,
Um,
okay.
just because yeah, like we're gonna be 4 scrap here. 4 scrap early is so nice. And then the only question is what your last unit is on this board. I'm gonna probably just play a bruiser for now over the Loris. Just play Steb for now over him, just to get
Oh,
bruiser
right.
in. Yeah, I mean, this guy's at least a nice unit, and then you scrap the 3 components. Yeah, I like where you put them. I think I'd probably put the glove on powder instead of the bow, like reverse the glove and the bow where they are, just because powder I feel like is a big beneficiary of like crit,
Like
especially like,
crit? Yeah.
yeah, just like, I mean, if you get Ambusher in, then it's like really valuable. Even if you don't, just like, JG, her being able to crit on her ability, just do a big explosion is really nice. Whereas Ziggs, he feels like more of a bow type unit for me. Like the Nashers is good on him.
Yeah.
Just wants to like consistently. It's like Powder does a bunch of burst damage, and Ziggs does a lot of like consistent damage. And so, like,
Mhm.
burst is more suited towards crit, and like consistent damage is more suited towards like bow type items like Winsu's and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But okay, this is our board for now. Yeah, like I said, 4 scrap early is just so, so good. So I think you can be very, very happy about this opener. Any reason to hold anything else there? No, I don't think so. I think the units that you're holding are fine. And yeah, you also just have fantastic direction into like this is going to be a scrap game, and that's great. Like it makes the game very, very straightforward to play and very nice. The double level here, it's, I mean, it's
Is
some.
that too crazy?
Well,
Yeah.
what I would say
Uh-huh.
is, like if you're going to do this, I think you should have like a really, really good idea of what the other matchups look like. Like you scout this guy. Um, I
He
mean,
looks kinda scary. I don't know. I thought maybe
yeah,
I think
I
I've beat
mean,
him. I'm
I
not
mean,
sure.
he has a 2 star. He has a 2 star stab, which is like the big thing. I don't know. His TF items are like not very real, like IE plus Rod. I think he'll be fine. He
Sure,
also has no
sure.
combat augment. So I think you should win this fight. It's like
Okay.
maybe close though. And then like if you're gonna do this though, I would definitely want to scout the other 100 streaker type person, just because
Yeah.
like you just really want to make an informed decision. Like whenever you're going to make one of these really aggressive levels, you just need to make this decision with as much information as possible here. And you have no clue how strong this guy is. This guy could be 100 streaking, but like he lucked out and fought like the 2 weakest people, and his board actually sucks. Or he
Uh-huh.
could be 100 streaking, and his board could be like so insane that like even if you level here, you still lose to him. So just
Right.
like scouting him to gain that information is really, really important, because like
Uh-huh.
if his board is insane and you double level here and you lose to him, your econ is just doomed for like the entire game. Like you're gonna be so, so broke forever. Like this type of
Right.
like level and lose here is like you will be just broke for the entire game. And so like you need to be really, really confident that if you level here, you're going to win all the fights, because yeah, level and lose here is just not, acceptable. It is a nice
Okay,
like
okay.
a nice unit to get in. I mean, I guess we can see how this fight goes. It also, I guess, depends a bit on your like scrap RNG, like what items you get. Like if like the steadfast hard onto Ziggs is really poor, but like this is pretty good. This is pretty good. I mean, this fight, I mean, it ends up not being very close. Had you not had Bruiser Enforcer in, it would have been a bit more close. But I still think like, I mean, just looking at the fight afterwards, I think you would have been fine without getting Bruiser Enforcer in. Like, worst case scenario, like these two would have died, maybe Ziggs would have died, and then Powder would have cleaned up at the end. So I think you would
Uh-huh.
have been fine without leveling. But I mean, it's good to like I think it's really good to like do what you did here. Look at his board and ask like how strong his board is, and then like I think you in your head, like you said, you made the call and you said this guy's board is pretty strong. Like I need to level versus him. And I think what you should
Yeah,
do
I think I
after
got
that,
scared versus this guy, like,
yeah.
straight up, yeah.
And I think like the first level there, like doing that analysis is like amazing. Like that is what I want everyone to be doing when they're like playing TFT, is just like doing that analysis in their head and saying, is my board stronger or weaker than his? Like
Uh-huh.
I think just getting to that step one is fantastic, because so many TFT players do not get to that step of just asking themselves this question. And
Mhm.
then I think what you should do after that is say, okay, I did fight him, and the fight was actually like not that close. Like I actually kind of stomped him.
Yeah.
So then you can go back and say, okay, I thought this fight was going to be closer than it was. Like
Mhm.
why was this fight not that close? And like you can go back and look at his board, and like I mean this is where coaching can help as well, but like this is where like
Yeah.
when I was looking at his board, I was like, I'm not that afraid of it. He has like an IE on his Twisted Fate. Like that's not really an item. It's like half of an item for his TF basically.
Uh-huh.
The only thing that I'm kind of afraid of is that he has the step 2. But the other piece of this is that he has no combat augment, right? He's just slamming here.
Right, his
So
lemon,
like
yeah.
so he's down an entire combat augment, and your board actually like
Mhm.
you're kind of in many ways like this is kind of a combat augment in that like it gave you 4 scrap that you could play here. So yeah, it's but yeah, like I think going through that first step and just saying like, is my board stronger than his is fantastic. And then like I think after winning this fight, you should ask yourself the question like, okay, why was my board way stronger than his? Because I thought this fight was going to be closer. So, like if you think the
Oh.
fight's gonna be closer, then just using that, and like that's when you can start like getting better at the skill of like judging fights. And then like if you get better and better and better at that, it's just so good for your growth as a player. Like you just get so
Mhm.
much out of that. Um this is a Trundle 2, right? I think I feel fine just picking up Trundle 2. The chain's like not amazing, but like you're trying to play for streak. So I think Trundle 2 is a nice pickup here. The only downside is like we're a little broke because we did the level. So like if
Yeah.
we're still in the world where if we lose any of these other fights, it's still really scary. But I mean, luckily our board's really strong, especially with the Trundle 2. So unless we fight somebody insane, we should
Well, I
be
think we
fine.
lose to the Darius, dude. I
Oh,
think
okay.
that's what happened this game.
Let's see when we fight them. I mean, I think this is your strongest board for now. You could think about holding the Camille. Like, I would probably just like not even care about this powder, just because like you're gonna be able to move. I mean, 7 powders. I mean, I'm not. I guess we could hold it and randomly hit powder 3. Maybe I don't know. It's not something that I'm that excited for, but we'll see. Oh yeah,
Okay.
you end up fighting this Darius guy. Um, I mean, this board's decent. I'm a little surprised if we lose this, but I guess I mean we roll pretty good items as well. We have the heal cut onto Darius as well. Do we lose this? I guess we'll see how Trundle does. He's got the Edge of Night. My God, Darius healing. Ziggs.
Yeah,
It's
he just
actually
runs
oh, and
fast.
then the powder. I mean, this is just such an unfortunate fight. We just leave everybody
I
at 1
see.
HP, and like the big
Yeah.
reason we lose this fight is this powder ult that like Darius walks right past, and then powder just ults backline here. Like if powder
Oh,
ults
is it the
Darius
Edge of
here,
Night?
well, I think it's just
Uh-huh.
yeah, it might have been Edge of Night proc like right here. I mean everyone's getting aggroed onto here. It might
Yeah.
have been. But I mean this fight's insanely close. I mean I think you can't I mean maybe you could know that like if we position like how we position our units on the left side here, we would probably win this. I don't know. It's actually a pretty
Oh,
tough
really? Okay.
fight just because like then the wind up monkey would have always gone through the Darius, it would have had to go through Darius to get to
Yeah.
these units. And then like it would have you would have won the fight. But yeah, I mean I think most of the time you do actually win this fight. It's just a little bit unfortunate actually that yeah, the wind up monkey does this, and then the Ziggs bomb also gets everybody so low. It's like it's actually tragic. But okay, we end up losing this fight. I mean, we are 10 gold here, which yeah, feels a little bit bad. But not the end of the world here. Oh, you also oh, why did we cut
Mhm.
oh, we played Nunu over this just because we wanted to get like a 3 cost in instead of Enforcer. I didn't see this because I skipped ahead. I mean, I do think Enforcer is just better. I don't know if
Oh,
I
it
might have
is?
swung the
Okay.
fight. But yeah, like it's an
Okay.
entire trade onto your Loris and your Steb here. I think it
Yeah.
is like definitely better than the star level difference from just like Nunu 1 to like this guy 1 to Nunu 1. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's a little tough. But yeah, I mean, I do think it is just better. Just because yeah, like a 2 trade is usually going to be better than just like
Like
a
a
1
2-star
to
difference.
yeah, like
Yeah,
a
okay.
yeah,
Like
and
a
yeah, I
cost
think
difference?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
you end up swapping him back in later, which it's fair enough. I mean,
Feels
hard to
bad, but
evaluate that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, but yeah, okay. So I mean, still spot not bad. We have like really really good direction in this comp. I also realize like I'm definitely gonna have to speed up this VOD if I want to be able to get through like any of it here.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I like to look at everything. Okay, I mean, I think your board for now is fine. Item wise here, so you have basically like Last Whisper open on these 2 units, which I think is something that we can like definitely think about playing down the line. I like Spark a lot in this comp. It goes nicely onto Echo later. Like it's
Mhm.
just a solid item onto him and just a pretty good slam in general. So I like the Spark Slam. You can probably just throw it onto Trundle for now. It's not like he's doing magic damage, but he'll be like the unit that can hold on to it the longest. Um,
Mhm.
and then yeah, your other I don't know, like you could make Last Whisper here just to make it, but I don't think it does that much. So I think I would just slam Spark and chill. Like getting items down faster means you're gonna get more scrap value. So every round, like yeah, slamming is just so good in this comp, and just playing high tempo is so good in this comp. But yeah,
Mhm.
all right. 3-2 augment here. I think you're scouting. So let me see options. Bulky Buddies rolling for days lunch money. I mean, I don't think any of these are amazing in your spot. And lunch money is actually not. Oh, just eye for an eye is good. Yeah, okay, I like this. I mean, yeah, more components in comp that likes components. I think you can be pretty happy with. Okay, here actually I would make the Last Whisper. So tier There's not that many good items in this comp that build out of tier. The most common usage of tier
It's
I
just
see in
still an
this.
echo, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just
Or yeah.
yeah, just tier the echo. So I like in this spot making the spark, making LW, and then tiering the zigs. Like kind of the way you did this, but
Oh,
you make JG instead of spark. My issue with JG is that it's getting rid of our glove, which you it's like a really precious component for echo, or not for echo,
right.
for
Corky,
Corky.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
the IE, it's the last whisper, like it's all that kind of stuff. And so like getting rid of
Uh-huh.
that. Also, this it's so tragic that this guy wins the fight with the one dummy. I guess we don't have a win streak, so it's not that sad, but it's a little sad. Um, but yeah, I just from an
Yeah.
item economy standpoint, like this is a comp that actually likes gloves a lot. So I don't want to use one of my gloves for an echo item if I don't like already have the IE and the last whisper and that kind of stuff figured out.
Got it.
And like
Okay.
we had a last whisper that was slammable there. So yeah. We actually lost a few fights this stage. That's an echo with glove. We can pick that up. Would be fantastic. We're not going to get that. So then okay, we have at this point we take belt for just this guy. We have Bobo. Yeah, I just think that this JG slam also kind of made our slams, like our future slams, pretty awkward. Um,
Yeah.
just because now like it's pretty tough to get to Corky items. Like we don't have
Uh-huh.
the glove for Corky or like a sword for Corky at all. So it's just like yeah, it's a little bit tough to get there. But yeah, we have I mean you take the belt, I like the belt. It's Sunfire, I would say. And then you just keep the chain as a scrap item on front line. All right, only got a few minutes left. Okay, you make the Sunfire.
Mhm.
We hold Zigs here. I mean, yeah, I think chilling on this board is fine. And then just looking to push like a relatively fast state. Probably can forward to it if we get a little bit of gold here. Yeah, I wouldn't mind fortuning it here. We get the glove back. We get Elise, who, yeah, you have in Team Planner, which is good. Have Mordekaiser, which, I mean, yeah, we can play him. Oh, you're like full all in on the Mordekaiser. I mean, we're like super all in on the Mordekaiser. I don't like
Yeah.
committing that hard to Mord here just because like when we get to
Oh,
the
these are good
board,
echo items too, though,
yeah, yeah. I
or
mean, these are good echo items, though. Like, I
uh-huh.
guess like Quicksilver. I don't know. I don't think of Quicksilver as being that good onto Echo. I mean, I feel like he's more of like an AP caster type. Like Mord really likes the attack speed of Quicksilver. Echo, like he
Yeah.
spends a while casting. Like I don't think he really needs attack speed that much.
Okay.
And the other thing is that like it's the same idea as the JG is like Quicksilver is getting rid of one of our Corky gloves and giving it over
Yeah.
to who's going to be like Echo eventually, which is just like yeah, like we're not really going to be able to make Corky items very
Like,
easily
at
this
all,
game,
right? Like,
which is rough.
yeah,
This also
seems
leaves
like
double
pretty
tier
bad.
open, which like now that we've invested these two items that are probably going to go into Echo, like it feels a little bit awkward. I guess we can just scrap both of them, but like scrap one tier on Echo, scrap one tier on Ziggs, I guess is our best bet here. But yeah, just the fact that we got rid of our gloves meant that like getting quirky items is so scary. Like it's kind of unlikely that we will ever get there. But okay, 44 HP here. I think you just level next round, roll a bit. I mean, Duo Q I actually like a lot in this comp. You can hit the 5 costs that matter, and it's more components, which never bad in this comp. Health is wealth.
Oh,
Health
I
is
never
wealth, not
thought of
bad.
the Dooku angle. That's cool.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just like it is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like almost the same. It's like one less component than salvage bin, but it gives you 2 5 costs. So
Yeah,
odds of
yeah,
hitting
like
Rumble.
Rumble or something.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I feel like
Okay.
it's just generically pretty good in any comp where you're like digging for a 5 cost and you don't mind components, which is like exactly what this comp is. But okay,
Mhm.
we take this, we get the crown guard, which doesn't really help our item situation. We really need to roll down for 6 scrap here. Okay, we do hit 6 scrap pretty easily. I still think this is another spot where okay, and then we crown guard echo just to get some items down. I mean, yeah, this is also just because like we made our items a little bit awkward, like with
Dude,
the
these
with it.
items felt terrible,
Yeah,
bro.
like
Like, I remember.
now you're
Yeah, I
just
was
in
really
the
struggling here.
now you're in the world where the items are so awkward, so you're like hesitate on slamming a lot of stuff, which is just I mean it's tough. Like these items are tough, but I think like we put ourselves into this spot by like making kind of
Yeah.
mediocre items. Yeah, I mean LeBlanc here I actually don't mind. I do think this is another spot where I still want to like roll. Like I still think we're pretty far off of like being excited about our board. But I mean I want to tier the echo just for the Hodge, I think. Like Cloak is what's gonna roll Spark, which is kind of nice, but the other tier is just so awkward to use. Like tier is just so good on Echo, and it's kind of awkward on other units. Man, this Mordekaiser
Mhm.
is beasting though. But I mean, okay, we have 2 minutes left. Like I wanna check this game and
Yeah.
see what your oh we pick up the Rumble, which is nice. But what your like what you're rolling Temple looks like calling card. I don't think it's actually very good here. Oh, this well, it's a little bit awkward on your units right now. Like having a Corki would be nice. I've seen a lot more people take Center of the Universe recently. I've seen Center of the Universe on Corki even. It's just like a
Oh,
decent
really?
yeah, it's just a
Uh-huh.
decent like damage dealing augment. People really like it on like Twitch as well. I've seen it's like the stars expand to whatever target you're hitting. And so like Twitch will like hit all these random targets and like the stars will go big and like hit the whole board and stuff like that, or like a lot of
Yeah.
units. I don't know. It's pretty cool. But I've seen
Okay,
it.
I'll try it.
Yeah, I've seen it do
Yeah, I
pretty
got
well
you.
onto to Corki because yeah, I think you're rolling down for like Rumble Anomaly here, which I think like if you're really confident about going level 9, I think rolling down for Rumble Anomaly is good, but I don't like once again, I'm not that confident that we can actually go level 9 here. Also, we were rolling a lot. I think we could have just taken like the AP one. It's not amazing, but yeah, I mean heavy
This is
hitter Rumble is not ideal. He's just I
yeah.
mean, he's more of a caster as well. He's not autoing that much and like he doesn't have a ton of extra HP. So yeah, just not amazing anomaly, but I would prefer just to be anomalizing Corki here just because like or even Echo, but ideally Corki just because like
So you wanna go 9, you'd keep rolling here for, like,
yep, for
I guess,
sure.
like, 2 stars? Okay.
Yeah, just because once again, like we don't have any of our 2-star forecasts here. Like this is kind of
Yeah.
another like it's a similar game to last game where like you want to go 9, but like once again we're gonna go 9 here. Like I would just say like rule of advice and like once you it's kind of like it's a rule in TFT, but like the better you get at the game, the more you can break the rule. But I think
Mhm.
right now I would just suggest to you if you're playing a comp that revolves around forecast carries, like hit your 2-star forecasts and then go 9. Don't go
Okay,
9
okay.
um before hitting 2-star forecasts. And then like there are some times when you can break that rule, but I think like starting with that rule will help you a lot and just cause you to not make any like unnecessary fast 9s, which I think both of these games end up being because you go 9 on 16 HP, but like you hit at least 2, but we don't have enough gold to hit everything else. We're stuck on Corki 1, we're stuck on Echo 1, like we're gonna get stomped by people who just have 2-star forecasts on their board and stuff like that. Okay, and I
Okay,
actually got through the entire game
yeah.
at the
Nice.
top of the hour. Okay. Any last questions about this game? I know I kind of like
Oh,
zoomed
yeah.
through this game,
No, this is
but yeah.
perfect. Like, for next time, does the same format work for you?
Yeah, no, this is perfect. I think the two VODs was good and just going over them. I love that you put them in the spreadsheet and wrote out a little bit out of them. That was super helpful for me. So yeah, no, this is perfect.
Sweet, dude. Alright, I'll talk to you next time. Thank you so much, man.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right. Good luck in your games and yeah,
Thank you.
hit your 2 stars before going 9. All right. I'll see you in the next
Will
one.
do, bro.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.